Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to
any radio program that must stand out. What ingredients are needed?
One, the philosophy must be clearly defined. Because it is the philosophy of that program that will now answer the question of how you moderate it. You know, every program is like the pilot. I keep telling people that I train, it's like the pilot planning the journey, say from Lagos to Abuja. You don't just get into the cockpit and you start flying. When you get in, first they will check you to be sure that you are not drunk, to be sure that you are okay. That's why pilots go for regular checks and simulation tests and all of that. So for you to go into the cockpit, which is the studio before the microphone, you must be sound by. You must be sure that you are sound. One, that. Then preparation. You go into that as a pilot. You go in. The ground staff will bring you documents to sign. This is the number of people on board. They tell you the weight, where the weight is located. They give you a flight plan of weather, of all of that. So you plot to know where you are likely to have challenges in terms of turbulence. For any program to stand out, you must do that. You must plot, you must plan, you must research, you must write, you must script. You must prepare for turbulence. What do we call turbulence in broadcasting? You are discussing radio. You are discussing Smiles radio. And somebody brings a topic to say, look at you. You people are just talking, do you know that NMPC, you have queues in NMPC now? What is causing that queue? If you're not very careful, you will change the topic, you will change the direction, because the next caller will call and say, I am in Ejigbo now. In fact, the trucks are not being allowed to load. Meanwhile, what you are discussing is radio, is broadcasting. That's the turbulence. If you are not very, very careful, they will take the program from you. So, if you don't plot well, if you don't plan well, you will not be able to moderate it. That is. Then landing, the most difficult is a part in flight is taken off. The flight part is taken off and landing. For radio, it is the same thing. If your takeoff is good, your moderation will be good, but you must also prepare for landing at the beginning. That is, you must leave people with something to look back, and then something to look forward to. Leave them with something to think about and reflect on, so that when next you come on air, they say, okay, yes, he did something last week. Let me follow him. And that's why you have some programs that for years, they've been running for years, and they have large followership, because the presenters always have their a presence. I tell my people, don't just be available, be present. Because when the coach introduces you to the field, the fact that you are available on the bench, if you are not present, watching the match, when they introduce you, maybe 15 minutes to the end of the game, you will just be there. So be available and be present. It's the same philosophy on radio. Be available, be present on the show. If you are not present on the show, you will not leave a lasting impression on the people. You say, well, let him say what you want to say. 1 hour is gone. Let's wait for the next program. And that's why you see people waiting for the next program, and then they don't wait for you. They just they go do something else, and then they wait for the next person to come on air. Once the next person comes on air to talk, okay, their day is made.
In your line of business, in our line of business, you know, most people attain success, but they are not able to sustain them. But looking at your own career trajectory, you know how you started from here to here, rising to become the MD of Faji FM, then ultimately actualizing your dream of owning your own radio station. I mean, some people, we all dream, but some people are unable to accomplish theirs. You have been able to accomplish yours. Where do you think that most people get it wrong, especially in our own profession? I knew that I didn't want to work for someone at 40, which was why I resigned at 39, and I wanted to be on my own and everything. So, sometimes I know it goes beyond the level of brilliance. It has to do with where do you let me even leave me out of it. Where do you think that most people get it wrong in the course of trying to actualize that dream?
Well, it depends on what the first thing is, what are you focused on? Two things. First thing is focusing on God and focusing on your journey. If you lose focus on any of the two, you are not likely to get it right, to get to the destination. You focus on God for the grace, because it's by God's grace that we are all alive to actualize our dreams, be what we want to be, or do what we want to do. Without Him, the source of all inspiration and all of that, we are nothing. That's one. Determination and focus, and being resilient in whatever. I can bet you that in all those your journeys in journalism and all that, you must have seen a lot of things that will possibly frustrate you, make you shift attention from that goal, that finish line, that big picture that you see. Some other people have been on the journey with you, either as colleagues, either as people you met along the way, who possibly had the same dream, but they don't see the big picture. They only see the narrow and small picture. Once they achieve that narrow and small picture, they are done. They feel so comfortable until the big storm comes, and they now discover that, hey, so what I even think that I had, the success I think I have achieved, was even nothing. Because they were really not prepared for the big storm. They only saw the small picture and they went for the small picture. And the small picture is easy to attain and see if you are not a determined person. So determination, focus, then relying on the source of all inspiration, the source of grace, very, very key in every man's journey. There will be moments that you want to start doubting yourself, to say, wait, why? Is it that I don't pray enough? Is it that let me tell you, when we brought the equipment in, the equipment was at home, was there. I'm a Catholic, and I took the rosary that my mother gave me before she died, and I kept it on the equipment. I said, one day you will leave that place. The rosary was there for months. I said, one day you will leave that house. And somewhere along the line, at a point I will pray and I will ask myself, wait, all these things, God did this, so, or I prayed. And at the point I will just tell myself, now you bring that equipment there. All the money that you have been able to put together, now you get out. Okay. So, if you are seeing you to this point, do you think He will not see you beyond the point? It got to a point when it was becoming frustrating. And I must say this. I was worried. The equipment had been there for months. How do we proceed? And I spoke to a colleague and said, Oga, the equipment and everything, you have it. You are waiting for the money for the mast so that you can hang this equipment. Before you get the mast and the land where you will erect the mast, why not talk to somebody that has been in ahead of you in the industry, Yoga? Talk to Kenny Ogumbe. And I picked my phone and I said, good afternoon. So I said, doctor, how are you? I said, fine. I want to discuss something. He said, what's that? I said, I'm just wondering if I could co-locate on your masts, to just hang my antenna on your masts. He said, you mean you have bought antenna? I said, yes. He said, since when? I said, since October. He said, October. And this is May. October, November, December, January, February. So said, Brozuma, you mean? He said, okay, what other equipment do you have? I said, well, there's transmitter and there's the mast. And they said, ah. He said, okay, when do you want to start? I said, as soon as possible. He picked his phone. He said, okay, drop. So, and he took his phone and called his engineer to say, get a rigger. Tomorrow, we will start installing Dr. Shomide's antenna on my mast tomorrow without asking for a penny. Without asking for a penny. Without saying, so the following morning I went to his house and we sat down and said, so the rigger said he will collect this. Do you have that money? I said, yes, I have. He said, okay, let's start. And that was within that week, the antenna went up. The transmitter was installed. And so, it's a long story. It's a long story. Determination. You know, managing relationship well. Managing relationship, the network of people that you have. Manage it so well. No matter the level of your success, no matter the level of your business, if you don't manage relationship well, you won't know who will say something somewhere that will deflate that your ego, that will bring that your success down, and you will amount to nothing. No matter your level of success, you will know who will say something nice about you somewhere, and somebody will pick the phone, and that your level of success will just be a child's play to the level of success you will achieve after that simple phone call from that someone who possibly was hearing of you for the first time, from somebody possibly you have interacted with and that you have helped along the way.